Hey everybody, happy Sunday. It's America's Supermom. And I'm on here really quickly because we want to talk about the theme for the week. This week's theme is mentorship. So I think this is a really good topic because mentorship allows you to save a lot of time with whatever it is that you're focused on doing, building a business, um, having time freedom, creating systems. All this comes from mentorship. Hey, Scott, how are you doing? Glad you could join me. So that's the theme that we're going to be talking about. So before we dive into that topic, you know me, we're going to do our quick scripture because this is what keeps me sane in times like this when the media goes crazy. Like I'm in Atlanta and now they're talking about shutting stuff down because we've had a lot of cases and everything. So in Atlanta, actually the downtown city, they are going back to quarantine type stuff. So I'm in an outskirt in a different county. So I don't know if it's just going to be a matter of time. It's going to start flowing to us. We don't know. I'm not really going out that much anyway, but this is really the state of affairs that's going on. So with that being said, my sanity comes from having some scripture, right? So we're going to do Proverbs 12, verse 11. And it says, He who works his land will have abundant food, but he who chases fantasies lacks judgment. Okay? So your land, your business, your family, whatever you're responsible for, if you're tending to that, then you're going to have abundance. But if you're going and trying to get rich quick, or come up with some formula where you don't have to do any work, that's a fantasy. Okay? Because all things worth having come with work. There is no easy way to get around it. So we've been in this microwave type society where people are thinking, oh, I can get it fast without doing any work, but good luck with that. That's only on TV. Okay? So I'm going to set my little timer here for 20 minutes so that I can make sure that I'm efficient with my time and your time. So mentorship, really we're talking about how we can till the land or whatever it is that we're responsible for in a way that's smart, right? So does it make sense for me to spend 5 hours doing something when I can get a mentor and they can teach me how to do it in 2.5, right? I can cut down, I can learn from their experience so that I'm not wasting my time doing something that's not going to get me where I want to go, right? So this is what mentorship is about. This is what getting a coach is about getting anybody that's going to help you cut down that amount of time. So you're still doing the work, but you're learning strategies and systems to work smart. See, that's what a mentor is all about. So I want to give a shout out to one of my mentors, which is Chris Salem. I'm going to tag him in this because he is the one who mentored me to do Facebook Lives. So I always talk about it, right? He didn't even know that he was my mentor, right? So I was a guest on his radio show last year. It was in February. And so this was like way back in February last year. I was focusing on video because my business coach was talking to us about the importance of video. You're going to have to get in front of the camera. This is where all the technology is going, right? This was last year, February. So I was like, oh my goodness. Now, if I waited from then to now, look where I would be. Now everybody's on social media. Everybody's trying to do video, right? And then you have a lot of people who are still scared. They don't want to get on video. They're just nervous about it. They feel intimidated, thinking somebody is worried about, what earrings they have on, how their hair is looking, their shirt, all this stuff. I'm past that. But I started out scared. So I'm going to post some beginning. We did a 5-series Facebook Live on his platform because I didn't even have any followers, right? So now it is, July 12th, and I have 5,000 followers. But I didn't start out that way. I wish I had written down how many followers or connections I have, friends or whatever, and I didn't have that many. So I thought, well, shoot, I'll be on his platform. And so this way, that gave me even more added pressure because if I'm positioned as the expert with what I value and content I'm giving, I better know what I'm talking about and I better be prepared. So that helped me focus more on the message rather than what I had going on, right? And so I did it and I was nervous, but I hung in there. We had a 5-part series. So we're going to give him a shout out and I'll put those videos. So I started off shaky, y'all. But the more you practice, the easier it gets. And set a timer, right? All you have to do is set a timer. So if you're feeling nervous about how am I going to get on video? What am I going to do? I'll tell you another trick. Everybody should have video capabilities on your phone. Create your own video, right? Practice it. Get in front of the camera and record it. Keep going over it over and over again till it doesn't even seem like it's work, right? See, this is the kind of work that goes into doing these things that people don't see. So while everybody's thinking I'm just hopping on here or whatever, now I can do that because I know what my level of comfort is and what my mission is in each Facebook Live that I'm doing. But I didn't start out that way. So I practiced with other people. I collaborated. So if I didn't want to do it by myself, I would do Facebook Live. So you guys can go back in my history, look up Lachelle Atkins and guest or something on Facebook. Under the videos, I have done tons of videos with people because I didn't want to do them by myself. So it was easier for me to do the videos having a guest on, right? And then Facebook threw a monkey wrench and stopped me from being able to do videos. So then I had to go to my Anchor platform, which is how I did my podcast. So then I went on to my podcast. So now Facebook is coming back, letting you have guests. So now I'm going back to doing Facebook Lives and I'm doing my podcast. And in the interim, I started recording on Zoom. So now I'm loading them up to my YouTube channel. So this is just how it can happen, right? So you have to be able to pivot, but knowing what my message is. All right. So when we're talking about mentorship, we need to know what we need a mentor for, right? So how many of you guys raise your hands if you know everything about Facebook? I don't. Raise your hands if you know everything about recording, the lighting, all that kind of stuff. I don't either. Raise your hands if you know the analytics. What's the best time to post on Facebook? How do you follow a post? How do you recycle it and everything? If you know everything about that, raise your hand. I don't either, right? So I don't have time to study Facebook because not only am I on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Pinterest, and I have a YouTube channel. So that's just me. There's some people that are on Twitter, they're on Reddit, they're on Quora. Now I have accounts with those, but I'm not actively on there doing stuff, right? So if you figured you have all these different platforms, do you know everything about the platforms? Probably not. This is where a mentor comes in. Because a mentor can help you based on the ideal client you have, what makes sense for you to spend your time. So today I'm just going to go quickly over how you want to be able to create the time so that you know what you need a mentor for. So we're just going to break this down to your ideal day. So you have 24 hours in the day. You need to be sleeping 8. Now we're just going to stop there. If you're not sleeping 8, you need to figure out how can you get to 8 hours of sleep. So you have 16 once you have 8 hours of sleep. So let's dive into sleep. What are you doing? Are you working late so that everything gets fallen behind? So maybe you're supposed to get off work at 5, but now you're working until 7. So then after you get off doing all your stuff at 7, then you're trying to cook dinner and then you're eating late. Then by the time you clean up in the kitchen, then it's 9 o'clock and then, you're doing whatever, having some downtime and you're not getting to bed in a decent hour, but then you have to get up the next morning, right? So you have to begin to take control of your day. Working smart is giving your body the time to repair itself, and that's 8 hours of sleep. So you have to come up with, okay, first of all, the night before is just as important as the day that you're being productive. So your ideal day starts the night before. So how are you going to start that? You're going to have to create an alarm. People get an alarm to get up. You need to set an alarm to go to bed. So this was hard for me because I would set my alarm and it'd be like, okay, the alarm go off. I'm thinking, man, I could just do one more thing. And it's like, nope, I'm not going to do it. It can wait till tomorrow. So set an alarm so that you go to bed, right? So you go to bed. Maybe you're not sleepy. Meditate, right? Everybody doesn't know what meditate is. Meditate is thinking about, man, okay, what am I going to do tomorrow? Visualize yourself doing it. Who's going to help me accomplish whatever mission, right? Visualize that stuff till you go to sleep. Okay, that's all you got to do. So you go to bed, you get up, all right? So you have to have an alarm. If you have an alarm, then set your alarm in another room, right? Because see, once you start this little pattern of sleeping, you may be one that can't get up like you should. So set your alarm in the other room. I have like my office is like adjacent to my bedroom. So my phone is in my office. So I have to get up out of bed, walk over to my office so that I can get up. Hopefully that little bit of activity will wake you up enough so that you stay up, right? Don't get back in the bed. Because you know what happens? Have you ever had a day of regrets? It's like, you get in the flow, you're doing all this stuff, but it's like, man, if I had just started this earlier, if I had just did this, I would be this much further along. Remember those moments so that when you want to push snooze, you'll get over that. Okay? You'll be like, look, I don't want to have a day of regrets. I'm going to go ahead and be productive. I want to feel like a champion first thing in the morning. I'm going to do something for myself when I get up in the morning, and you're going to get up and do it, right? So get up, set your alarm. Now you're down to 16 hours. Why is this important? These are 16 productive hours because you've given your body the self-care it needs to repair itself, right? So people are like, oh, I can't sleep 8 hours. Just try to lay in bed and meditate. Okay, so maybe you're not sleeping 5 hours. So you know how people say, oh, I can't meditate. I can only meditate for 10 minutes. Well, stay in bed, okay, until you can get up in a decent hour. So imagine meditating for 2 hours. That's just like really just taking 2 hours to visualize your day. I mean, you're just going to be on fire, right? Because you can come up with everything, what that day is going to look like, what you're going to do that first hour. I mean, you have it minute by minute, that you're going to be powerful. All right. So that's the thing. So you want to have productive time. If you've got 5 hours of sleep and you're like, I'm going to have more time because I only have 5 hours. So I'm having 19 hours available to be productive. It's not going to work like that. Trust me, I know from sleep deprivation. I did it for 13 years, dealing with my depression. So you want to have productive time. That's time when you're at your highest potential, from getting enough rest, thinking clearly, being alert, being a problem solver. Being tired and barely getting up out of bed, that is not productive time. Okay, so I've beat that to a dead horse. So we're dealing with 16 hours. So 16 hours, I'm just going to use myself as an example because I don't know what everybody else has going on. But a typical day for me usually involves podcasting. So that's doing interviews, that's editing interviews, okay? That's also reaching out to people for podcasts. I also do networking. So that's people who send me a message and they're like, I signed up for your podcast, want to know if we possibly can meet before we do the interview. Do you have some time? So that's networking. I have to do my coaching, right? So there are days that I have coaching clients, so I have to prepare for their actual coaching call and any other content that I have to get together. I have to post on my social media platforms. So I usually post every day on every platform, which is Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, and only one I don't post every day is YouTube. Okay, so with those other ones, I try to post every day. Then I have to cook, right? Usually, which kind of shaky about that, y'all. Sometimes we eating peanut butter and jelly, or my kids are making noodles, right? It just depends on what kind of day, but I'm just going to put it out there. Or we're having leftovers or something, right? But I have to factor in cooking. I have to factor in eating. We have our church, so there's things with me having time for devotion, doing that for myself. So as you can see, this list of stuff is just adding up, right? So I might have 7 things that I'm doing. That's not even including my own self-care. That's reading and writing, right? So all these things, I do my own post, right? I don't do this little active thing. I'm doing better now because see, my group, I would just post on my group every once in a while, really when I would remember. But now I'm being more intentional about posting in my group. So now I'm starting to schedule post, just one post a day for my group. So that's something that I do schedule, and that's through Facebook. Okay. So let's just say I have 7 things. 7 things with 16 hours. That's not a lot of time to get all that done, right? So you think social media posts, then I have a card business, right? This is the way that I keep in contact with my clients and leads, right? So just for example, this is somebody who sent me one. It says, "Hi, Lachelle." It was a half birthday card, right? And so she sent this to me. This is something you can do for your clients. But I try to keep up with people and send out cards every day. So that takes time. Now, this is just pretty much a general card. It's nothing unique for me except for "Hi, Lachelle." And then the back, she's created her own message. But for me, I usually put somebody's picture on the front, right? I customize it so it takes a little bit more time. But I could just put like a regular little card on the front. But anyway, so I try to do that. So all these things I have to divide into 16 hours. Can I do all that every day? I can if I have systems, if I have things set up to recognize you can't do everything all the time, but you need to work smart. So I work smart and think about, I'm not going to be on here like making a card, then going doing something else, then making another card. You have to time block. You have to do things in systems in certain chunks so that you can use your time effectively, right? And then when you get a mentor, they can show you how to strategically do that. So I have Jonathan on. Jonathan is the social media guru, right? If you want to know how to get your social media going and getting these clients and attracting them to you, you need to contact Jonathan. Tell him that I sent you, right? And he can get the results that you need. He shows you clearly how to do it. However, as a mentor or a coach, there's a fee that goes with that. This is where people's expertise costs money, right? Now you can work out something. This is the thing. If you talk to people and tell them what you need, you can customize your own system, right? So it's just like imagine going to a restaurant, right? The restaurant has a menu, but then we can also see if they can cater it to what we like, right? So you could say, all right, the lasagna, you know what? I'm vegetarian. I don't want any meat in my lasagna. Can you do that? Right? You may be willing to pay a different price because they're customizing it to what you want. So think of that same way when it comes to contacting somebody else for their services. Okay, so he's saying he's doing a free class on Thursday to help with scheduling. What time is that class, Jonathan? Give them the link and let us know, because I probably definitely need to go to that class. But anyway, because you can always learn how to do it, right? Don't get so stuck in, think about it. When you're finding out information, use things that are going to help move you forward, right? Don't get so caught into this comparison thing, but try to figure out if you want more time freedom, then figure out a way that you can get more time freedom. It could be schedules. I have read so many books on time management, organization. You can't read too much of this information because this can help you. The more you kind of inundate yourself with it, the more it would be second nature. You have to think about it. You are reprogramming your mindset. And so you cannot have enough information to do that reprogramming, right? So if you've been barely getting by, half organized, it's going to take some time for you to rid that out of your system. And the only way you're going to do it is to keep flooding that information in. One day something's going to stick, right? Because you might be trying 7 different things and you don't know what's going to work. So keep getting in that kind of environment. And as a result of being in that environment, it gives you like aha moments. I know sometimes I have certain schedules and it's like, you know what? I have this schedule. I need to do this with my chores, with the kids. Maybe on Mondays, we're going to have, clean out the cabinet day, right? Before you weren't doing anything. But once you start having systems, you're like, how can I systemize my cleaning routine in my kitchen? How can I systematize, cleaning out the closets when it comes to change of seasons, right? All this kind of stuff. You think about how you can reproduce that activity in other areas of your life, right? So this is what that's about. So we're talking about being able to maximize that time. So if you only have a little bit of time for social media, then you want to make sure that you maximize that time that you have for social media so it works for you instead of you working for it, right? Instead of chasing every little article about, Instagram says this and LinkedIn says this and all this, just get with something that's going to work for you. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, what are some things that kind of take away your time? I think I've only got like a couple minutes to go. And I'm going to give myself 5 extra minutes. So anyway, so what some of the time wasters are people who infringe on your time. So you know how it is. You might have been at work. You would have that one coworker coming over. Hey, how's your day going? You spending 20 minutes talking about whatever. Okay. So that's unannounced calls. So the first thing is put your phone on do not disturb, right? Don't answer your phone while you are working. Now, for me, my kids, they even joke about it. They're like, Mom, it could have been an emergency. Your phone's on do not disturb. And I'm like, if you want to get a hold of me bad enough, you'll contact somebody else in the house and they will come and tell me that you need me for something, right? Because I'm working. My phone's on do not disturb. I don't answer it if I don't have an appointment. So I write down all my calls, Zoom, whatever, in my calendar. If you're not scheduled on my calendar outside of my kids in between time, I'm not answering the phone because I don't know who you are. My phone number's on LinkedIn. It's on Facebook. It's on all these different things. There's my timer. I'm going to give myself 5 more minutes. But anyway, if your name is, if you're calling me just random, I'm not answering the phone. I don't have that kind of time, right? So put your phone on do not disturb. I do the same thing at night because I don't get caught up in these conversations, not unless I get a scheduled time. If there's somebody in a different time zone that I have to be up doing a class or a seminar or we're doing a podcast interview or a meeting, that's the only time I'm up outside of those hours that are do not disturb. Otherwise, my phone is on do not disturb at night. So it's the same thing with my kids. They'll call me. They just have a little idea that they want to talk about. And everybody knows. They're like, you can't get a hold of Mom. She has her phone on do not disturb. So they already know, right? You have to train people on how you want them to treat you. If they can't respect my time, think about it. If I didn't have my phone on do not disturb, how many interruptions would I be getting? They'll tell you. They know that my phone's on do not disturb. And sometimes they still call me. Right? So people will still do stuff. You have to teach them how to respect your time. So that's the first thing. Put your phone on do not disturb. The next thing, emails. Check your emails certain times of the day. You decide when that is. So let's say that I say, okay, I'm going to check my email in the morning. So this is key. You check your email. Oh, I did forget I was going to send them that. So let me just send them that real quick. And then you go over, exit out of that email, go send it. Then you get sidetracked into something else. And then you go back. What was I doing? Oh, I was sending them that email. Then you go to the next email. Oh, yeah, I forgot to send them that. So you go on this whole process. You spend an hour doing emails in somebody else's agenda, right? So what you need to do is say, okay, I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes with my emails. You're going to get a piece of paper and you're going to write down what are some things you need to do based on those emails. Flag the email, but you also need to write it down. So you're going to write down what things you need to do during that timer. So if you only get to like 7 emails, oh well, right? Deal with those 7 emails, write notes on what you want to do, set that aside and do that when you're ready to do that. so that when you answer those emails, it's focused time, right? It's focused time on correspondence. So maybe you want to say, okay, this is my time where I reach out to people, call it reach outs or whatever. And so then you set a timer for reach outs. If you don't get that done, then you set it down for another time during the day if you have another time in your schedule for reach outs, or if you want to do it the next day, right? What's the worst thing that can happen? Nothing. Okay, right now people are in a pandemic. People are not doing what they ideal like to do. Now, if it's something that's time sensitive, then I encourage you to answer that as soon as you can. I mean, you have discretion, it's your business, right? But, begin to start really thinking about the time that you're spending doing these things, because you'll be redirecting in this area and that area, and you're not going to have anything done. Okay. So let's see. I have one more minute, guys. The last thing is social media posts. So social media posts, don't get on there scrolling, right? Don't get on there following certain people. Already have your content together on what you're going to post. So do that on all your platforms at one time, set a schedule and do it. And then you can get notifications for people who respond to that. Now, if your time is not up, then you can go and pick a friend, scroll them, and find out what you can engage with them. Or go through your story archives, right? Go through your story archives, find out who liked your stuff for the day or whatever. Send them a voice message. This is going to be more impressive than trying to scroll and figure out what Facebook has got going on. Okay, I'm telling you, you have to work smart. So reach out to people. If you have extra time, whose birthday is it that's on the platform with Facebook? Send them a personal message. Sing happy birthday. I've done that before. Sing happy birthday to them on the voice message, wishing you a great day. Have a great year, right? Simple things you could do. Think about what is going to move you forward in your business so that you can have deeper relationships and continue to move you forward in reaching your goals. So that was my 5 extra minutes, y'all. So I hope that y'all got a lot out of that. Join me in the morning at 7:30 for those that want to for office hours. I usually have a question that we dive into. It's just an hour, 7:30 to 8:30, and I will put the link up there. And you guys have a great week, and think about mentors. We got a lot of people on the Facebook Live. Reach out to people. See if they have anybody that you could have a mentor with. If it's social media or a mentor on writing scripts, right? Why do the same thing? Why do something 50 million ways when you can do it one way that's strategic and keep on using it? So that's the same thing as the script, right? So if you have, he says using voice memos saves so much time and it's more personal. This is so true. Hey, happy birthday to you, whatever. But when let's just say you're saying happy birthday to somebody, create your script and keep it. Put it in your notes. And this is what you say every time when it's somebody's birthday. Why reinvent the wheel and keep on doing this? If you have a letter that you want to send to people, create the letter one time, make it a great letter, but then just change out the names. I mean, who wants to keep spending 15 minutes for a different letter when it's still accomplishing the same thing? So these are the ways we got to think. You guys are getting me going with some more ideas, but that's enough for now. Okay, I'm going in here to relax and watch TV, but I'm going to give a shout out again to my mentor for Facebook Lives, which was Chris Salem. You want to follow him. He's doing great things. He's a great coach for all you men. Sometimes men are like, I can't have a woman coaching me. I need a man's man. So I'm telling you, he's a great person to reach out to. And he may mentor you, right? There's ways. Another thing I want to say really quickly, mentorship doesn't always involve finances. There's ways that you can barter your services with people, right? So you could say, hey, you know what? I'm good at social media, but can you help me build confidence? So I can provide some, we can work this together as a team, right? So, or you can provide me with 7 clients and I can do this for you or whatever. So see, this is where you got to think. So that's all I have. But join me in the morning if you can. You guys have a wonderful week, and I'll be following up with you on Friday. Talk to you later. Bye.